Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel Read M. I'm Emily and today I have a very exciting video for you guys, and that is a list of my top 11 5-star predictions. And so what this video could serve to do is for any future TBRs when I have a 5-star prediction prompt, I can come back to this video and see which books I thought I was going to give 5 stars, and even if it doesn't come up in the TBR and I just happen to get to read it, it'll just be really interesting to see if these books actually manage to meet my expectations, because as of right now, they're very high, and I'm just so excited to get into this list. I'm so excited to read all these books, and so I just want to share them all with you, and hopefully maybe they'll even become 5-star predictions or 5-star realities for any of you guys too. So let's just get right into it. So my first 5-star prediction is The Young Elites by Marie Lu. Now, the reason that I have this in my 5-star predictions is because Marie Lu wrote one of my all-time favorite series, the Legend series, and that is a young adult dystopian series that is just probably the best one I've ever read, like my favorite out of like all of that whole dystopian era. And I believe this is somewhat a dystopian, but it's more of like a sci-fi. I think some of it also is somewhat historical, like not genuinely historical, but it takes place in the past. And I'll just read the blurbs for all you guys because they do a better job at explaining things than me. And when I go into a book, especially one I'm very excited about, I tend to like not to know too much about it just because I don't want to like spoil anything for myself. So I'll just read what's on the back. It's really short. A decade ago, a deadly blood fever swept through the nation. That's a little too real for right now, but you know, it's okay. Most of the infected perished, but some survivors were left with strange markings, rumored to signify powerful gifts for those who possess them. And though their identities remain secret, the group of survivors has come to be called the Young Elites. The Inquisition Axis seeks to destroy them. The Dagger Society aims to find them before the Inquisition Axis, and Adelina Almontero just wants to be left alone, but two truths will soon surface. Adelina's powers are far from ordinary, and she is not to be crossed. So, you know, it sounds a little bit generic based on that, but I just know that Marie Lu's writing and her intricate plots will just be exquisite. So I have very high hopes for this one. Okay, so my next 5-star prediction is one that everyone, I'm sure, will be screaming at me for not yet reading, and that is Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. Technically, this first book in the Mistborn series is actually called The Final Empire. I don't really know why this edition just says Mistborn, but anyway, I've always been excited to get into Brandon Sanderson, and a lot of people say this is where you should start if you're not going to try to go like chronologically or like publication order. But this has been on my radar for so long and I've been excited about it, but I didn't really have it as a 5-star prediction until I learned that it actually is about a heist, or at least the first book is, and that is one of my all-time favorite tropes. It always has been ever since the Now You See Me movies, and I just think that I need to get into Brandon Sanderson. Everyone gives him 5 stars on every single thing he writes, and if it's about a heist, like, I'm so in, and I really need to get to this one. And yeah, I'll read the quick back also, but just so everyone is aware, this is part of like a huge kind of universe, fantasy universe that he writes in, and then there's multiple series within this universe, so this is one of these series. It's not necessarily like the first one, but you can kind of read them in many different orders. You can look it up by people who actually know what they're talking about, but anyway, I'll read the back of this one. The mists rule the night, the Lord Ruler owns the world. Once a hero arose to save the world. He failed. Ever since, the world has been a wasteland of ash and mist controlled by the immortal emperor known as the Lord Ruler. But hope survives. A new uprising is forming, one built around the ultimate caper, the cunning of a brilliant criminal mastermind, and the determination of an unlikely heroine, a street urchin who must learn to master the power of a Mistborn. Like, see, the whole criminal mastermind part really speaks to me. It really does. And I think you might see that as a common theme throughout this whole video. Anyway, so yes, this is my second one on my list. Okay, third one, in a similar vein, is The Lies of Locke Lamora by Scott Lynch, another adult fantasy book that I believe has to do with sort of a crime-infested city. This one I know much less about than Mistborn, but it is almost as popular as Brandon Sanderson. And honestly, just the aesthetic of the cover, like the whole city with canals, really speaks to me in a fantasy setting. That's like one of my favorite types of settings. And yeah, so I can, again, this one really got me to put it on this list based on just the first line on the back, so let me just read this to you. An orphan's life is harsh and often short in the mysterious island city of Comore, but young Locke Lamora dodges death and slavery, becoming a thief under the tutelage of a gifted con artist. I love con artists, another common theme with me. As leader of the band of light-fingered brothers known as the Gentleman Bastards, Locke is soon infamous, fooling even the underworld's most feared ruler. But in the shadows lurks someone still more ambitious and deadly. Faced with a bloody coup that threatens to destroy everyone and everything that holds meaning in his mercenary life, Locke vows to beat the enemy at his own brutal game, or die trying. So again, yes, this gives me lots of good, like, criminal fantasy, and that's one of my favorite, like, trope genres. I don't really know what it's called, but yeah, I love a good gangs in the city with canals and fantasy and criminal masterminds and con artists. So, like, this is really speaking to me also. So yes, the only thing that worries me a little bit about this and Mistborn and some other books that are in this list is that I really haven't read much adult fantasy. The only adult fantasy series I've ever read is the Shades of London series by V.E. Schwab, but even that, people argue, kind of borders on very, like, similar to YA. Like, it is an adult fantasy series, but it's, like, not really adult. So, like, I don't know, I haven't really tried any, like, high fantasy series, but we'll see how this goes, because these are really speaking to me, although I don't even know exactly what counts as high fantasy or not, but, like, whatever, you get the idea. Next up, we have, I believe, the last adult fantasy on this list, and that is Foundryside by Robert Jackson Bennett. And once again, as we can see, a common theme is occurring. It is another adult fantasy that has to do with criminals in a fantasy world. So, again, I don't know much about this. I know that the magic system is really interesting. I think it had things to do with, like, keys. I might be making this up. I just saw the key there, and I've heard people talk about it. I don't really know. I'm gonna read the back. Here we go. Sansia Grotto is a thief, and a damn good one, and her latest heist on Tavon's docks is nothing her unique abilities can't handle. Hold on. I haven't read this, but, like, there's another heist, so we like that in thieves. But unbeknownst to her, Sansia has been sent to steal an artifact of unimaginable power, an object that could revolutionize the magical technology known as scriving. If the ruthless merchant houses who control this magic— I love merchant houses, sorry. The art of using coded commands to imbue everyday objects with sentience can unlock the artifact's secrets, they will rewrite the world itself to suit their aims. Now someone in those houses wants Sansia dead, and the artifact for themselves, and in a city like Tavon, nobody has the power to stop them. To have a chance at surviving and at stopping the deadly transformation that's underway, Sansia will have to marshal unlikely allies and undergo her own transformation, one that will turn her into something she never could have imagined. Hold on now. Also, look at this cover. Like, the fire. Oh my god, I love me a good dramatic fire. Like, oh my god, I need this. I need these. These vibes are what I need. So anyway, yes, this is definitely all my 5-star predictions. Now, going into slightly different territory, we're veering off into young adult and not fantasy. So we have Jane Unlimited by Kristen Cashore. This book I've heard very mixed things about. It has a pretty low rating on Goodreads, but a lot of my friends have rated it really high on Goodreads. And again, reading the back just, like, made me so interested because it had, again, a lot of my favorite buzzwords. Different ones than the other ones, though. But just a little quirk I wanted to show you. Another reason why this book especially speaks to me, like this copy especially, is because I actually got this at a local library book sale, and it's actually an advanced reader's copy, which is, like, technically not allowed to be, like, sold, but, like, we don't need to talk about that. But my favorite part about it is that I didn't notice this until I bought it. But if you open it, it's actually signed to someone named Jeff. And I would just like to personally thank Jeff for gave me the opportunity to have this beauty because I didn't notice that until I got it. So anyway, it does say also breathe with a smiley face. So just some words from fate telling us to breathe. I think we should listen. But anyway, the reason that this spoke out to me is because of the amazing blurb and how divisive it is. Apparently it's, like, so strange. So strange. So anyway, I'm gonna read the back. After the loss of her beloved guardian aunt. I love a guardian aunt. I don't know if that's really weirdly specific, but I love guardians. This sounds so strange, but, like, serious unfortunate events when they go, like, their guardian uncle, their guardian aunt. It's always such a good trope because it's just, like, so mysterious and, like, what happened to their parents and, like, the dynamics. Like, what if, are they good guardians? Are they evil guardians? You never know. Like, you can always get a count off. Anyway. After the loss of her beloved guardian aunt, Jane receives an unexpected invitation. We love an unexpected invitation, oh my god. From an old acquaintance, inviting her to an extravagant island mansion. Extravagant island mansion. Let that sink in. Called Tour Revienne. I apologize, I don't know how to speak French. Anyway, it's an invitation her aunt made her promise never to turn down, though as far as Jane knows, her aunt never set foot on that island. At Tour Revienne, Jane will have 5 choices that could ultimately determine the course of her newly untethered life. and every choice comes with a price. She might fall in love, she might lose her life, she might solve a mystery, she might find her calling, she might come face to face with herself. At Two Rivian, anything is possible. Can we take a moment? Can we take a moment? The amount of buzzwords in this: loss of her beloved guardian aunt, unexpected invitation, old acquaintance, extravagant island mansion. Yes. All I have to say is yes. Next up, we have another one, and we have A Madness So Discreet by Mindy McGinnis. Now, this book is one I really don't hear about talked about. That was not a sentence. One I really don't hear talked about often. And that is interesting to me, because I do hear The Female of the Species by the same author talked about often, or at least it used to be like a couple years ago when it was like really a buzzy book. And I do expect to like that book. But this one has a bit, more average ratings. But I didn't really know what it's about. I just ordered it because I thought the title and cover were interesting, and I was interested in the author, and like whatever. I don't really remember when I bought this. It was a long time ago. But then one day, I decided to read the back. And I was blown away, once again, by the amount of buzzwords. Here we go. She keeps it locked away, along with her voice, trapped deep inside a brilliant mind that cannot forget horrific family secrets. Brilliant mind, horrific family secrets. Take note, people. These secrets, along with the bulge in her belly. Okay, that's not a buzzword, but I just wasn't expecting that. Land her in a Boston insane asylum. Insane asylum. Yet another buzzword. Grace is banished to the dark cellars where her mind is discovered by a visiting doctor who dabbles in the new study of criminal psychology. Yes. Yes. Sorry, my mic is down here, so I'm just really trying to emphasize how much I am interested. With her keen eyes and sharp memory, we love that, she will make the perfect assistant at crime scenes. Yes. That's just me talking, yeah. After escaping to an ethical asylum with the doctor's help, Grace continues to operate under the cloak of madness and must now hunt a murderer while she confronts the demons in her own past. She has to pretend to be crazy, even though she is brilliant, while helping, essentially, the FBI track down a murderer using criminal psychology. Let me continue. In this beautifully twisted historical thriller, I love historical thrillers. I've discovered this about myself recently. I've read like a couple in the past couple of years. They're always so good. Sorry. Acclaimed author Mindy McGinnis explores this fine line between sanity and insanity, good and evil, and the madness that exists in all of us. Again, let that sink in. Let it sink in. Let it sink in. I do not think a more perfect plot summary or like blurb could have been written for me. And my expectations now are so high. So high. It's probably concerning, probably unhealthy. I don't know when I'm going to get to this, but this sounds like the perfect book for me. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Okay, anyway. Yes. I think you get the idea at this point. Moving on. Okay, so next up we have Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. I don't have the dust jacket on a lot of my hardcovers, as you can see here, so I'm so sorry for that, but I think everyone pretty much has heard of this book. So this is an adult sci-fi thriller that was really popular a couple years ago, and I never got around to it, and it just sounds really good. Again, I mean, I can't really read the blurb on this one. I don't have the blurb. But what I do think I know about it, again, I purposely don't know a lot about it. Purposefully. Not sure about that. Anyway, I deliberately do not know a lot about it. And all I do know is it involves many dimensions, planes in reality, perhaps. It's very trippy, and I kind of don't want to know more than that. I don't think I want to know more than that. I just know it's a sci-fi thriller, and it's like pretty iconic. So that's what we have. Okay, next up we have How to Make a Wish by Ashley Herring Blake. And I think what I have to say about this one is probably, maybe along with The Young Elites, like the one that I'm least sure would be a 5-star, because both of these I'm not really predicting to be a 5-star based on the plot. I'm more predicting it based on the author. I am obsessed with Girl Made of Stars by Ashley Herring Blake. That book spoke to my soul. That book, if you haven't read that book, read it right now. It's so good. Anyway, we're not talking about that book. We're talking about this book. So all I know about this, again, I haven't read too much about it, as I know it's like a lesbian romance young adult book. That's all I think I know. I could be wrong, but yeah, I guess I'll read the back right now and we'll see what I think. Grace has nearly given up on wishes, thanks to a childhood spent with her unpredictable mother Maggie, who drinks too much and uproots their lives for every new boyfriend who just might be the one. Then Grace meets Ava, a girl who believes in dreams, despite her own tragic circumstances. When Ava tells Grace that she likes girls, Grace's world opens up and she allows herself to feel truly happy for the first time. Yet, just as Grace starts to believe in wishes again, Maggie's impulsiveness forces Grace to choose between her mother and the girl Grace might love, between the life she's always known and the future she imagines for herself. Set over one unforgettable summer in a tiny seaside town, How to Make a Wish is a story of two girls who find each other at the exact right time. Okay, reading that, there were a few buzzwords. There was set over one unforgettable summer. I do love a good timeline. I love summer. And I do love a good tiny seaside town. That's what's really speaking to me here, honestly. And like, I'm not really loving this cover, but I do get tiny seaside town from it at least, so like that's good. And it does give me similar vibes to Roommate Stars, which is right on the back here if you want to look at that. Yeah, so it gives me similar vibes to that, to the point where I'm like, I trust this author. I really trust this author, like with this kind of vibe, and it's gonna make me cry, and I know that. I'm very aware of that, and that's why I think I'm gonna give it 5 stars. Okay, next up we have a bit of an interesting pick. Again, this is another one where it's a bit of a wild card, but I'm just feeling it. So this is I Capture the Castle by Dodie Smith. This is actually a classic. I'm not sure when this came out. Let me take a look. This came out in 1948, but this is obviously like a new edition of it from Wednesday Books. Shout out Wednesday Books. I love Wednesday Books. They're an imprint at Macmillan and St. Martin's Press, and I just almost always love every single book that they put out, and this is just a gorgeous edition, so I just gotta praise them for that. Anyway, so this book is a classic, and it has a foreword by Jenny Han, this edition, which is fun. I love Jenny Han. The reason that I just really think that I would like this is that it's like giving me kind of Little Women vibes, in the sense that it's just like day-to-day living of a girl in the past. Like, it's not really like, I don't think there's really a plot, it's just like her observations. That's another thing I really like in books, or at least in people, or just myself. Like, I like to observe things a lot, and I think it would be really interesting to be in the head of a girl who also just observes her surroundings. And the first line of this is also something that really caught my eye. I write this sitting in the kitchen sink. The vibe of that like evokes within me is just immaculate. It is so immaculate, and I need to keep reading to see what else this girl is going to say. Okay, but besides that, I will read the back. 17-year-old Cassandra Mortman and her family live in a not-so-genteel poverty in a ramshackle old English castle. Here she strives over 6 turbulent months to hone her writing skills. She fills 3 notebooks with sharply funny yet poignant entries. Her journals candidly chronicle the great changes that take place within the castle's walls and her own first descent into love. By the time she pens her final entry, she has captured the castle and the heart of the reader in one of literature's most enchanting entertainments. Once again, is there anything I can say that would make that sound even better? I am not sure. I just know that I want to see what this brings. I want to understand this girl like I understand Jo March, and I just feel like I will. But it's like one of those books where I'm really like, oh my god, I have to be like in the perfect mindset to read it, because I have such high expectations. So then I keep putting it off, but like, I need to get to it. I really need to get to it. We're on our second to last book. So this one is The Name of the Star by Maureen Johnson. And again, this one I don't have the dust jacket for. This one I actually just don't even own the dust jacket for, because I purchased this at a used book sale also and didn't have the dust jacket, but I was so excited about it that I still bought it anyway. So what I know about this is that it's a supernatural or paranormal, like, I don't know, there's like magical powers involved, like retelling, I guess, of Jack the Ripper, which is not a book, but like, he was a real person. I don't know how to describe it. It's like a historical thriller, but with fantastical elements, you know? Again, common theme here, and criminal elements. Very common theme we have going on. And it's about a girl who I think kind of has to get, like, she gets roped up in, like, trying to find Jack the Ripper. I don't really know, but she's like, powers? I don't know. I don't care. It looks so exciting. There's dead bodies on this map. Look at that. That's really exciting. Isn't that exciting? I'm excited. It has timestamps. Oh my god. Guys, this is fate. This is fate. The first chapter, it like gives you a timestamp and location and stuff. Look at this fate. Look at this fate. I don't know if you can read it. I don't know. I can't see if you can read it, but it says August 31st. That's my birthday. That's my birthday, and that's what the first page says on it. This is fate. I'm telling you, this is fate. Anyway, this, Jack the Ripper, magic, criminal, historical, fantasy thriller, August 31st. It's a recipe for magic. And my final entry in this list of 5-star predictions is Legendborn by Tracy Deonn. Now, this one, like from initial release, probably wouldn't have made it onto my list, but then I kept hearing such good things about it, and I started reading about what it was actually about and stuff, and I was like, hold on, this kind of sounds really good. And also, apparently the plot twists in this are insane. Like, it's kind of big. Well, I mean, it's not like huge, but like, I don't know. Sometimes in like denser fantasy books, I tend to give them more like 4 stars because they get a little slow. But apparently this one's like so fast paced and so insane, and the plot twists are like so crazy that everyone, even people who are like kind of growing out of young adult, is like obsessed with it. So I just think that this could be everything. I know it has to do with Arthurian legend, some sort of Arthurian legend retelling, and I'm not like an expert on Arthurian legend, like I really don't know that much about it, but I just know that whenever I've seen like TV shows, especially with stuff about it, I always am like pretty intrigued. So yeah, I guess I can just go into reading the little blurb. After her mother dies in a terrible accident, I added the terrible, I'm assuming it was terrible. After her mother dies in an accident, 16-year-old Bree Matthews wants nothing to do with her family memories or childhood home. A residential program for bright high schoolers at UNC Chapel Hill. I wasn't expecting that. I was not expecting it to be like in the real world. Sorry, that just kind of threw me for a loop. Seems like the perfect escape until Bree witnesses a magical attack her very first night on campus. A flying demon feeding on human energies. This is not the same energy I was expecting. Oh my god, stop. It says a secret society. That is like one of my other favorite tropes ever. Like my absolute one of my favorite tropes. Of so-called legend-born students who hunt the creatures down, and a mysterious teenage mage who calls himself a Merlin and who attempts and fails to wipe Bree's memory of everything she saw. Okay, it says more than that, but like sometimes the fantasy books, their blurbs like go like way too long and it spoils stuff. But anyway, okay, I saw Secret Society, I saw like urban fantasy, like I didn't realize it was urban fantasy, I thought this was like full-on high fantasy. I'm even more excited about that. We had Merlin, we had flying demons. Flying demons, I mean, no, that's not really a buzzword for me, but Secret Society is. So like, I think it evens out. So yeah, this is definitely high on my list, especially because of what I've been hearing about the plot twists. Like, I'm gonna have high expectations about that. So like, will it ruin it? Maybe, but hopefully not. So yes, this is the 11th entry on my list and the final one as well. Okay, so that is all for my 5-star predictions video. I'm trying really hard to pick them up right now. I don't know if this is gonna happen without them all falling, but this, oh my god, it stuck my shirt, is my giant stack. I don't even think I can lift it all the way. Okay, this is my giant stack of 5-star predictions. My arms are gonna fall off, so I'm gonna put them back down before they all come tumbling down. So that is it for my 5-star predictions video. I will be making sure to refer back to this when I get that prompt in any of my TBRs, or just when I'm in a slump, like kind of right now, but I have a TBR for this month anyway, but whatever, we'll come back to that later. But in general, if I'm looking for any books that I really feel like I'm going to love, I will definitely use this video to be able to refer back to it. And you know what I'd also like? If any of you guys could comment down below any books you think would be a good 5-star prediction for me, because I know Kayla from Books and Lala has been using comments on her 5-star prediction videos to also kind of compare and contrast if your viewers actually are better predictors than herself at what she's gonna love. So I think that could be a fun video as well. So I would really appreciate it if you'd comment anything you think I would like based on the buzzwords I've talked about in this video. I'd really appreciate if you, along with comment, also like and subscribe if you want to see more videos from me. So yeah, that's all I have for today. Bye!